Hey everyone, welcome to week 6. I just wanted to check in, say hello, go over a little bit of what happened last week and talk about what is coming up this week. So, yes, here we are, week 6. You can see that the rough draft of all of Essay 2 is due. So last week you read Chapter 8 in Outliers. This week you're reading Chapter 9. And I do want to apologize if there was confusion. The prompt for Essay 2 does state that you're drawing upon both of those chapters, 8 and 9. And last week you had to submit, yesterday it was due, a rough draft of your introduction paragraph of Essay 2. And some people might have been confused how they were going to do that, having not read Chapter 9. So the idea was that you would have read Chapter 8, because that was homework last week, and you would have read the prompt for Essay 2, and you would have come up with a draft of an introduction with a thesis statement. This week, you'll read Chapter 9, and you'll have to then revise your introduction because you've learned new information. So it was an exercise, as a writer, as scholars, right? We read something, we write about it, and then we read something new, and then we have to change what we wrote. So that's what was happening there. I did not make that entirely clear. So for anyone who maybe didn't hand in the rough draft of your second essay, you can still do that. Okay. So this week you're reading Chapter 9, and you're also submitting a rough draft of all of Essay 2, not just the rough draft of the intro. This week, right? So you're getting that in by Sunday. Once you submit it, you will then schedule an appointment with someone in the lab. It's a virtual appointment. It's, of course, free. The Learning Lab is an amazing support service that we have at the college. The faculty there are faculty. It's not peer tutors. And not that there's anything wrong with peer tutors, but if you are getting this feedback from someone, a faculty member, okay? So you're going to schedule that, and I'm saying you could do it this week. Like if you have your rough draft ready to go tomorrow night, Tuesday night, then sure, you could meet with someone in the lab this week. But it must be done sometime during the week of the 19th. You can't push it till after next week, the week of the 19th. I am in the process of grading Essay 1. That will be playing out over the course of the week. If you're not happy with the grade, if you basically got less than an A, you can revise, rewrite, and resubmit. No quizzes this week in the 101 class here, and no graded discussion. So, again, on Sunday, you're submitting a full draft of Essay 2. Let's take a closer look at Essay 2. So the question that you're answering is this. What makes meaningful work the key concept for understanding Gladwell's point in both rice paddies and math tests, as well as Marita's bargain? Okay, and as we know, having read Chapter 8, and you'll read Chapter 9 soon, if you haven't already, the role of culture and cultural legacies, as Gladwell calls them, play in here, right? So the concept of meaningful work is really what you're focusing on here. And I added a little more exposition that might be helpful. So I'm just going to read this out loud. First, you're defining meaningful work as you understand it from your reading of Gladwell. You are also explaining the point or points that Gladwell is making in these 2 chapters. What is he trying to prove with the examples he uses? Right? What's he trying to convince us of as readers? Okay. Then you're connecting the concept of meaningful work to what happens in those chapters. You aren't necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with Gladwell. You're simply telling your reader what meaningful work is according to Gladwell and how chapters 8 and 9 illustrate the value of meaningful work. So hopefully that helps because I did read and grade the rough drafts of the introductions. Most of you did get them in, and most seem good. People are on the right track. Some minor things here and there maybe, I was pointing out. But then a couple people seem to kind of go in another direction. So really, the focus has to be meaningful work. What is it? How does Gladwell define it? Why is it important? And how do the stories in chapters 8 and 9 illustrate that concept of meaningful work? So this is a very text-specific, text-focused paper, right? It's really making you read and think very critically and deeply about what you're reading. This is why note-taking is so important. I don't ask you to like upload photos of your notes or, keep notes if you're doing them in a Microsoft Word, upload those files or anything. I just trust that you're using the Cornell method and you're annotating when you read and you're taking notes. So think about it, rice patties and math tests. What are the main points Gladwell's trying to say? It seems to me at the end of that chapter, he starts to, challenge maybe he starts to raise the notion that we should challenge the way the systems are set up, right? Because it shouldn't be that one success story is such an outlier, right? That if the system were different, then we'd see way more success stories, right? So that's an idea that he starts to really kind of share or plant the seed in his readers' minds. So you would get that when you're reading and you're taking notes. Hopefully you're seeing these big points that he's trying to make. And so this essay, and it is 3 pages, full 3 pages. You don't want to do 2.5. You don't want to do 2 3/4. A full 3 pages is what we're looking for. So again, the rough draft of this is due Sunday. Okay. The next week, then you will work with a tutor. Okay. And to access the lab, right. I just clicked that link to schedule an online appointment with the tutor. So they have the face-to-face doing Zoom, which is what I do with, my office hours. There's also e-tutoring where you upload a document and the tutor reviews it and then they give you focused feedback. I would think maybe the online face-to-face synchronous is going to be more beneficial, but the choice is yours. And then the directions are here how to access it. So the e-tutoring, again, is asynchronous. You would submit it, they would get back to you. The video chat is kind of interactive, real-time, face-to-face using Zoom. So, the directions are here how to log in. So you're doing that potentially this week if you're ready. If not, then you're definitely doing it next week. Okay, go back here. So that's what we're working on this week. As I work through grading essay 1, like I said, if you got less than an A, you can revise it. There's no due date notice because I might not get to your paper until Friday this week, right? So you'll have time after you get it back from me graded. That's when you can decide if you want to revise. If you got less than an A, you can do that. The community forum, of course, is still here. The student forum is here. The chat function is still live. So I think that's about it for going into week 6 here. The main focus, you're reading chapter 9. Really make sure you have a good sense of chapter 8, and you're writing a full rough draft of essay 2. Okay, so it's a big task. That's why there's no quizzes, there's no graded discussion. You're writing the rough draft, 3 pages, right? A full draft of your essay. You're submitting it to me for feedback on Sunday, by Sunday. And then when you're finished with it, when you have a draft, you're also making that appointment with someone in the lab to go over it with them as well. Okay, so email me if you have questions. Week 6, we're moving through October here. And everyone's doing great, so just please do reach out if there's anything I can do to help, okay? All right, take care. Bye-bye.